we could, so this is assuming everything that comes in the function. So assuming that nobody defines a polynomial which is not reduced. If you provide a way for people to defining polynomials, and in that function or whatever you reduce the degree, you make it so that the only way to produce a polynomial is to produce a polynomial that has the right degree for the array. Then when you add to polynomials, you have to maintain that. When you multiply by a constant, unless the constant is equal to 0, so I guess if c equals to 0, that's an important case. Res dot n equals 0. Return res. Okay, so now when we multiply by a constant, if the constant is not 0, it's not going to change the degree, so we're good. When we multiply, as long as both polynomials have their n values in sync with their degree, we're just going to make the degree potentially bigger. If the degrees are 0, then we make a polynomial of if the length of the array is 0, we make a polynomial with length 0, so we maintain the correctness when we multiply two polynomials. And so because we start with correctness and we maintain correctness, we always have correctness. If you wanted to, you could simply, it's not that most of these operations, if not all of them, will still work perfectly fine if the value of n is bigger than it should be. It's just that it's going to make really big polynomials for no reason. It's going to compute lots of useless things like 0 times 1 equals 0. And so by safety, I mean really not doing extra work for no reason. If you wanted to, you could basically reduce the degree of your inputs just as a matter of principle every time you go into these functions to make sure you don't do extra work for no reason. We're not going to do that. So another to do, which I think we might actually do next time, is to derive polynomials, I guess symbolically. Compute the value at a point x of a polynomial, and yeah, then we can look at even more numerical methods, so we can build a small toolkit. If you're completely bored with numerical methods, you should look at the title of these broadcasts, and at some point the titles will no longer have numerical methods. They'll have probably first physical example or something like that, where we dive into the physics and we leverage these numerical methods, but actually we're going to write some pretty sophisticated code that solves like not fully real problem, because usually the problems that we have to solve when doing research are really difficult. That you can't really solve them in like one day of hard coding. But there are the problems we're going to attack are, at least to begin with, problems that can be solved, and they're like surprisingly, like they're a bit like you would see in if you take courses in the regular physics. You look at the problems that can be solved rather easily using the methods that you see in class. You don't look at the problems that are just hopefully and helplessly complicated or unsolvable. You leave those for later. And you never get to the wonder point in most cases. But they still are. I mean, they're pretty interesting, and they're not too hard. So you don't have to be afraid to dive in and give all you have, because there is a solution. At least a partial solution can be found in a relatively short amount of time. And I think that's a great way to begin. To get your feet under you and have a solid base before you start running. But eventually we're going to look at problems where it's unclear if there is a solution, or just how hard it is to find that solution. And that's going to be more exciting, but it's also going to be you have to have a good basis. You have to grow with a certain kind of confidence that it's not impossible. So in order to build those mental muscles used for actual, real world problems where you don't know if it's going to be solved by the methods you have, or you're going to have to find new methods, it's good to practice with problems that are realistically difficult, but not too realistically difficult. Alright. Enough of that. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at this address. Comments, suggestions. When the videos are on YouTube, you can comment there. If you want to see the stream live, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to change probably eventually, because I'm going to move around a little bit in the following the next few months, and so I'm not going to stream at like 2 a.m. or something where I'll be, right? So I guess we'll adjust in terms of that. Since there aren't that many people watching the streams live, that shouldn't bother most people. Hopefully my geographic location will stabilize before there are many people looking at this live. But if you have like really good questions that you would like me to answer like in a live fashion, you can just send me an email and say, yeah, I would like you to answer those questions live, and I'll just look at the question and stream my answer to the questions when I get enough questions. Okay.